Thank you for joining the more than 1 million people globally who will volunteer with Habitat for Humanity this year. Volunteers can serve on a build site or in an office, raising money or generating awareness for Habitat's mission. Habitat volunteers work alongside families in the heart of communities where they make effective and lasting impact. You're watching this video today because you'll soon be out on the build site, and there are key rules and procedures necessary for a safe, productive, fun, and engaging build day. This video will cover the ins and outs of risk management on the build site. You must watch this video before you step foot on an active construction site. Following these guidelines and procedures will ensure that we build safe, staying accident-free every day. It will also help you have a memorable experience as you help Habitat build stronger, more stable communities around the world. Let's get started. We'll begin by discussing how to prepare for your construction experience before you arrive at the build site. Safety starts even before you arrive on the build site. Wear clothing that's appropriate for the work and weather conditions. You should dress comfortably, but don't wear loose or baggy clothing. Pants and overalls should fit properly and have legs without cuffs. Shirts and jackets should be kept buttoned, and sleeves should also be buttoned or rolled up. Sleeveless shirts, tank tops, and shorts are not recommended because covering your skin protects from cuts, abrasions, and sunburn. Don't wear jewelry or watches, and if possible, leave purses and wallets at home. Cell phones can allow you to gather great memories from your experience, but using your phone in an active construction area can be hazardous. If you do need to take a call or want to get that great picture, be mindful of your surrounding, or step out of the construction area. Shoes should be sturdy with thick soles. Wear steel-toed shoes or work boots if you have them. Summer heat can be a hazard, so be sure to drink plenty of fluids, drink often, and take breaks. Heat exhaustion is triggered by excessive sweating and not drinking enough fluids. Serious cases of heat injury can lead to life-threatening heat stroke. If you haven't already completed your waiver and liability form upon arrival at the build site, you'll need to fill it out on site. Then you'll need to sign in for the build day and meet with the affiliate site leadership. The build day will begin with a morning group safety discussion to review procedures specific to what you'll be working on that day. Please let your site leadership know if you're uncomfortable performing any tasks. The site leaders are the key on-site go-to personnel every volunteer should know before beginning work. If you have any questions, they are the ones to ask. Volunteers under the age of 18 will have some important restrictions on the build site. Federal regulations prohibit young people from working at heights above 6 feet, using power tools, and doing activities like demolitions and roofing. Power tools are defined as any tool with a motor, as well as air-powered or pneumatic, used for or designed for cutting, shaping, nailing, stapling, punching wood, metal, or similar materials. There are some exceptions, so please work with the site leader before the day starts to find the best activities you can be involved in. It is important to wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, while on the build site. The site leader will provide all necessary PPE unless you prefer to bring your own safety goggles, gloves, and hard hat. Any PPE that you bring will still need to be inspected by the site leader for good working condition. It is important that you listen to your site leadership and follow directions when they ask you to wear PPE. We recommend wearing a hard hat anytime you're on an active build site. Site leadership will identify when hard hats are required, such as when any overhead work is being done and when you are working on or near scaffolding. Wear gloves, especially if you're carrying materials or cleaning up. Hand protection is important. Proper protection prevents cuts and blisters. Loose-fitting hand protection is not recommended while working with rotation tools because they could catch your glove and pull your hand into the machinery. If you do wear gloves, a best practice is to use mechanic-style or form-fitting gloves that provide more dexterity. Respiratory protection must be properly matched to the job task. Your site leadership can help you with this because using specific respiratory masks might require more training. Wear appropriate nuisance masks or face coverings for protection against non-toxic dust such as sawdust. Safety glasses or goggles are always recommended. Safety glasses are required when working near flying debris such as sawdust and hammering nails. If you're near flying metal shavings or concrete chips, you'll need to wear a face shield as a second layer of protection. Construction sites can be very dusty places. If you normally wear contact lenses, you should wear glasses instead. Corrective eyewear also needs to meet safety standards. On the side frame of the glasses, look for a stamp that says Z87 or Z87 Plus, which means the eyewear is impact rated to meet safety standards. If your glasses don't have this stamp, then you'll need to wear goggles over your standard glasses. Hearing protection may be required around some power equipment that creates excess noise. Hearing protection on the build site might be in the form of single-use disposable foam or rubber earplug, or it might be an earmuff that covers the entire ear. Before using any product like glue, caulking, or paint, be sure to ask your site leader about the hazards. Each product comes with a safety data sheet that recommends protective equipment, outlines health hazards associated with the product, and explains cleanup procedures. Before you go into a work area, survey the area to identify potential hazards. Build sites often have lots of people and various tasks happening at once, so you need to be aware of your surroundings at all times. Start by looking at ground level, then look at the area within your reach. Finally, check out what's going on overhead. There may be temporary power lines or other obstructions. Be aware at all times of objects that could fall from the roof. As we mentioned, we require you to wear hard hats while doing framing or demolition, or any time overhead work is being performed, and when work is being done on scaffolding. Don't be afraid to tell a teammate to stop working if they don't look well or are working in an unsafe manner. If the volunteer resists, alert the construction site leader. If your buddy suggests you take a break, accept their recommendation. Reflexes, balance, flexibility, and upper body strength typically weaken with age, as does the ability to recover from an injury. But whatever your age or physical condition, don't lift heavy items or work from heights beyond your comfort and capacity. Be aware of your surroundings, especially when carrying long objects. Be aware of where your coworkers are and what they are doing around the build site. Don't back up or move in any direction where you don't have a clear line of sight. Never back up when you're on a roof. Ask for the location of the emergency action plan and take time to review it. Every build site has a first aid kit that's clearly visible, along with an emergency contact phone list. If you experience an injury on the build site, please seek medical attention as soon as possible. Don't wait until the end of the day to notify your site leader. In most circumstances, you'll be asked to complete a form with information about the incident. Please be as detailed as possible in case more information is needed later. If you have basic hand tools such as hammers, tape measures, carpenter pencils, tool belts, or basic woodworking tools, bring them. We have a limited number of tools available, so it's a big help if you have your own. If you do bring your own tools, they must be in good working condition and will have to be approved by the site leadership to make sure they comply with all build site requirements. Please do not bring handmade tools, tools that you have modified or repaired yourself, or tools with missing or damaged safety features. Make sure your tools are sharp and properly adjusted so the handles are on tight and in good condition. Dull tools are hazardous because excessive force must be used to make them work. Hold and use your tools correctly and always carry them with care. If you bring personal tools, make sure they're identifiable as yours. With so many people on a build site, it's easy for your tape measure or hammer to be confused as a Habitat tool. Brightly colored tape or markings make it easier to quickly spot your tools and let others know they're not Habitat property. We can't overstress the importance of exercising extreme care when using power tools. A serious injury can easily occur if you're not familiar with the correct procedure of operating power tools. Before you begin, make sure you understand all safety procedures involved and have been instructed on the proper use by a site leader. In general, if you use the tool safely and as designed, you will use it correctly. Don't forget to inspect the tool for defects or safety hazards before use. When using a power saw, for example, make sure that what you're cutting is properly supported and that your power saw is properly adjusted and tightened. Make sure the blade is clear before starting the saw. A jarring kick can occur if the blade is touching the wood when you power it on. Table saws must have guards installed and must be in good working condition. Remember to never reach under material being cut. Always unplug saws or power tools before changing or adjusting blades, drill bits, or other accessories. Under no circumstances should you bring a nail gun to a Habitat build site. Nail guns can be very dangerous when used by inexperienced volunteers and are used in specific situations by trained users, so please use hammers only. Inspect cords to make sure they're in good condition, and keep all power and extension cords out of walkways and doorways to prevent trip hazards. Your site leadership will direct you to use outlets that have ground fault circuit interrupters, also known as GFCIs, or to use an external GFCI at the power source. Ground pins need to be on all extension cords and grounded tools. However, it is acceptable to use tools that are two-pronged or double-insulated tools that were not manufactured with a ground pin. If a circuit breaker turns off, shutting off your tool, be sure to notify your site leadership for proper corrective action. Good housekeeping refers to the overall neatness and orderliness of a build site. A well-maintained build site is a proven component of accident prevention. Lumber or piles of trash should not be lying around. Such trip hazards can cause serious injury. Please keep track of the tools you're using, and when you're done with them, return them to the tool trailer or put them in a safe place so they don't become a trip hazard for you or someone else. If you see something lying around, please pick it up. If you see a nail or screw sticking out of a board, remove it or hammer it down immediately or notify the site leader. We're responsible for the safety of ourselves and our co-workers on the build site. To work safely with either hand tools or power tools, make sure you're on firm, solid ground. Do not try to work over rough piles of dirt or on stacks of material or scaffolding that are unstable, and always watch for slippery conditions. Be aware of excavated trenches or holes, gaps in the floor, steep drop-offs, and other hazards. Only trained workers are allowed in or near any holes in the ground, like excavation or trenches, so stay 6 feet or more away from the edge. Holes in floors should have covers or guardrails around them. Never leave a hole unattended. Don't forget to help clean up at the end of the workday. In general, good housekeeping is the best way to prevent fires. Flammable and combustible liquids must be properly stored and clearly marked. Locate fire extinguishers before beginning work. Always keep containers, such as paint thinner, closed when they are not in use. There are usually temporary overhead power lines on site, so be extra careful while carrying ladders and lumber. Aluminum ladders and long-handled tools such as paint extension poles are not allowed near overhead power lines. Damp conditions will conduct electricity, causing shock and serious injury, even death, and could start a fire. And please, no smoking on the Habitat build site. Ladder safety is another area that requires your attention. We often take ladders for granted by not using them as designed and not following guidelines, which can result in serious injury. Always check the condition of the ladder before using it, and if you spot a problem, alert your construction site leader. Use a ladder only for its designed purpose, whether it is an extension ladder, step ladder, or leaning ladder. Do not use the top 2 steps or the braces of the ladder. They are not intended for climbing. Step ladders can be used only when they are fully open and the spreader bar is locked. Never exceed a ladder's posted load limits. The ground surface should be level and solid. If the surface is not level, make sure to secure the ladder base to stabilize it from accidental movement. Use the rubber pads on solid surfaces like concrete, and use the swivel spikes in soil or gravel. Use the 4-to-1 rule. For every 4 feet in height, the base of the ladder should be 1 foot away from the house. Ladders extending onto the roof should extend at least 3 feet past the roof or working surface. The same rule applies when working with scaffolding. Always face a ladder when climbing up or down. And always use 3 points of contact while climbing, 2 hands and 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand. When stepping off the top of the ladder to another walking surface, be sure the upper part of the ladder is secure to prevent accidental movement. Always keep the exit points clean and clear of debris to prevent ankle twists or tripping hazards. Don't forget to remove all the tools from the top of the ladder before you move it. Most Habitat for Humanity construction sites use some form of scaffolding. Meet with your site supervisor for training on how to use the scaffolding at your build site. We cannot stress enough the importance of roof safety. When working on a roof, always move slowly and carefully. Only crews trained in fall protection can work on roof construction. Always inspect equipment and harnesses before usage. The trained work crew must always use some form of fall protection. For example, you may be asked to wear a full body harness while working on a roof. Trained workers need to keep the roof clean and clear of loose items that could cause someone to slip. Nails, shingles, tools, etc. Guardrails may be used for roof edge protection, so use caution when getting near them. Railing systems are designed to have a 200-pound minimum downward and outward force, so do not sit or lean on them. Lifting and carrying involves simple rules, but those rules can be easy to forget. When lifting, stand close to the load, bend at your knees, not your waist, and lift by straightening your legs and keeping your body as vertical as possible. Do not underestimate the weight of an item. If it feels heavy or is too bulky to see over or around, get someone to help move it. Always check for a clear walking path before you start your lift, and when possible, use available steps and stairways to prevent leg, ankle, foot, or back injuries. Remember, most of what we discussed is just good common sense, but sometimes we forget things that are obvious. Forgetting is dangerous on a build site. If you spot an unsafe situation, calmly point it out to your site leaders. If you're not sure how to do something, just ask. And if you feel uncomfortable about how things are being done, tell your construction site leader. Thanks for your attention. Enjoy your day serving with Habitat for Humanity. We all want to build safe by staying accident-free every day, so our local homeowner family can enjoy the finished product, a decent, healthy, affordable home.